Hey everybody, welcome back. Once again, this is MGB with you, talking about week 4 of the NFL season, fantasy football advice right here. Alright, I'm going to go over my wins, losses, and draws from last week. Again, I want to just give you a little caveat. I'm not here to tell you who your number 1 running back should be, number 1 wide receiver. You should have drafted that way. If I wanted to be right every single time, I come on here and say, start Aaron Rodgers, start Calvin Johnson, start blah blah blah. Of course you're going to start those guys. You're starting Ray Rice. You're starting all the studs. That's not what I'm here to do. The ones that we always have problems with as fantasy players are the flex positions, our number 3 wide receiver, our number 3 running back, that kind of thing. Oh, should I start, Darren Sproles or Tim Hightower? Should I start, LaDainian Tomlinson or this? Anyway, I am here to help you with that. But because I take risks, I'm wrong once in a while, and I'm here to tell you what I got right and wrong. Alright, first I told you to start Kevin Cobb last week, and I thought he'd just roll over Seattle. Didn't happen. He still got you 10 to 12 or 13 points. Not horrible, not great. I expected a lot more. I'm going to give myself a draw on that one. Mike Thomas, I told you, of the Jacksonville Jaguars to start. I thought that game was going to be a complete blowout, even on both sides, man. But then it turned into like swamp ball down there, and that just screwed everything up. I still got a win with this. Mike Thomas, 4 catches, 40, 50 yards, touchdown. The guy got you easily 12 to 14 points in your fantasy league, which for your number 3, even number 2 wide receiver, man, I'll take every week. So I get myself a win on that. I said start Beanie Wells. I didn't know the guy was going to be hurt. I didn't see anything. There's no news made of it. At least maybe I was taking a piss every time on NFL Live they were talking about it, and I was up getting a sandwich or taking a leak. I don't know, and I missed it. But I said start him. I'm just dismissing that. Had he started, that game would have been even better even for Cobb, because he would have had Beanie Wells. I told you to start San Diego against Kansas City. Not a lot of people started San Diego. It seems like an easy one because Kansas City blows, but not a lot of people are starting San Diego, which I think is a mistake. They're a great run defense, pretty good pass defense. They got burned by Brady, but who doesn't? They only gave up 17 points, which is more than I thought they'd give up. 1 sack, 1 fumble, 1 interception, so they got a lot of extra points for you. They easily got you 10, 11, 12 points in your fantasy league, which out of your defense, that's not bad at all. I told you to start Fred Davis, tight end of the Washington Redskins. He's been having a great year. Dallas came in giving up the 4th most fantasy points to tight ends, and he was only targeted once or twice. 1 catch, 23 yards, 3 points. Filed that under a loss and one of those. So that's where I was. That's why I told you to start. Here's where I told you to sit. I told you to sit Eli Manning. Well, not only did I give myself a loss in this, I filed this under the fuck me category because he had 4 touchdown passes against Philadelphia. I thought they'd be pounding it with Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw, and they kind of were, but they were not just running it, throwing a lot of screen passes, which then makes Eli Manning look great. One to Bradshaw for a touchdown, 1 to Jacobs for a touchdown. Plus, Eli throws very inaccurate passes, and his receivers come up with grabs. You saw that the week before with guys making crazy grabs, and it makes Eli's numbers look great when it's his receivers saving his ass. So that's a loss. I told you to sit Indy's receivers against Pittsburgh. I said maybe Reggie Wayne, but even that, I only had a long shot. None of them had great days. Pierre Garçon had an okay day, 80 yards or whatever. But the thing is, there's 3 or 4 guys there that you could start, but you never know which guy's going to get the ball that day, aside from Wayne. So it's a win. There's no way you should have known to start Pierre Garçon against Pittsburgh. And even that, he did okay. So we got a win there. I told you to sit Joseph Adai. I'm calling this one a draw. He scored, but still only got you 13, 14, 15 fantasy points. It just happened to get in the end zone. I wouldn't have counted on it. There's only if you were really desperate. So I'll give myself a draw. I told you to sit New England's defense, which not a lot of people would do, even against Buffalo. But it looked like it wasn't going to be the right call, but ended up being the right call, as they ended up giving up the 34 points, so you were getting negative points there. They didn't have any sacks, didn't have any fumbles recovered or forced. They did pick them off 2 times, all right, pretty much right away in the first quarter. But you got no more than 2 to 4 fantasy points, and maybe even less depending on your scale of negative points for opponent scoring. So anyway, 4 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws. So over the last 2 weeks, I am 9-4-4, which for the things that I predict, since I'm not doing the sure things, it's actually really good. All right, so here's this week, week 4. And again, after all this is done, man, you want help with the lineup or just want to bounce a night, oh, should I do this guy, that guy, what are the pros and cons, whatever, man, I'll respond, it's cool. So anyway, here's who you're starting this week. A guy who hasn't been very good, but because of matchups, that's Sam Bradford. Start him. Start Sam Bradford. He's going to come out in Washington and start slinging the ball around a lot. Steven Jackson should be back. I don't know about Amendola, but Mike Sims-Walker is going to have another nice day. But yeah, so Sam Bradford's going to come out. He's got a little toe injury, sprained toe. It's not going to keep him out of any game time at all. Maybe one practice, probably not even that, quite honestly. So yeah, start yourself Sam Bradford. Wide receiver, start A.J. Green of the Cincinnati Bengals. They're playing Buffalo, and again, I think even though Buffalo picks off a lot, you saw they picked off 4 passes from Brady, a lot of deflections and shit though going on. A.J. Green's going to have a nice day, I think. They're going to score some points, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the guy go for 70 to 100 yards and a score. So once again, start Tim Hightower, man. All these other fantasy experts are saying, oh, by week 4 or 5, Roy Halu's going to have all the touches and this and that, because he's better than Hightower. Really? At what? At blocking? No. Picking up the blitz? No. Does he get more yards per carry? No. Does he get more yards after a catch? No. Does he receive more? No. What's he better than Hightower at? I don't see it. Even in the game against Dallas last night, you saw when Hightower was in, they moved the ball, they scored. Even if it was just field goals, they scored because Tim Hightower could help them in the passing game as well. When Halu was in, not so much. Right after Hightower scored the touchdown, the next series was all Roy Halu, 3 and out. Just saying, yeah, keep your eye on it. I think anyone who takes out Hightower and puts in Halu is a moron. And I don't think Shanahan's a moron. I just think he's an asshole a little bit, but I don't think he's a moron. Start Atlanta's defense. They have not been that good this year, but they're going to get on track against Seattle. So yeah, start them. Seattle will be inept against them, and you'll get a lot of points out of Atlanta. Here's who you're sitting. Another guy who's done really well this year is Joe Flacco. And it's not because I think he's going to have a horrible game against the Jets. The Jets, I think, are stronger against the pass than they are against the run. People wouldn't have said that going into the last couple of weeks, but man, they were really susceptible to Darren McFadden, and Ray Rice is going to have a big day, I think. And I would say start him just so I could have one right, but you're a moron if you don't start Ray Rice no matter what the matchup is. It could be like the Baltimore Ravens against God and still start Ray Rice. All right. I want to do one more guy to start, and that's Percy Harvin. So let's step back from the sitting guys real quick. Start Percy Harvin. They're going against Kansas City. They blow return yards, catches. They do a lot of end-around running with Percy Harvin. He had like 40 yards rushing. Start Percy Harvin. Going back to sitting, sit Brandon Lloyd of the Broncos. They're playing Green Bay, and it's not that I think Green Bay is tremendous on against the pass, because they've shown to give up a lot of yards, but I think they're going to be really keying in on Brandon Lloyd, taking him away. So that means guys like Eric Decker and some of them might have a big day. possibly some of the running backs out of the backfield. So sit Brandon Lloyd. I think he's going to be double covered a lot. Sit Daniel Thomas, running back for the Dolphins against San Diego. San Diego's going to stop him. I think you're going to have better luck with Reggie Bush this week in the PPR leagues, especially. He'll be catching a lot of passes. Sit the Dallas defense against Detroit for obvious reasons. Detroit's fantastic, and I think they're just going to light them up and destroy them. So yeah, hey, anything you want to talk about, post here. I'll respond. I like looking at guys' lineups and shit. So yeah. So until next week, this has been the best fantasy advice you're going